Welcome back to Palangi 21. Today I will show you a 2020 Taiwanese romantic drama directed by Patrick Kwong Wei-Lu titled Your Name Engraved Herein. It's starring Edward Chen, Jing Hua-seng and Leon Dai, and follows two male students, Ahan and Bertie, who fall in love amid family pressure, homophobia, and broader social change. The film opens up with Ahan meeting his school priest and band leader Father Oliver to discuss the fight he had just gotten into. Father Oliver assumes the fight was over a girl that Ahan likes, but Ahan does not respond, glancing at Father Oliver in silence. Taking place in Taiwan as martial law ends in 1987, Bertie transfers to the same all-boys Catholic high school as Ahan. Their first encounter takes place during a training session in the pool where they tell each other what classes they are in. As they test their lung capacity by holding their breath underwater, Ahan secretly glances at Bertie, indicating his interest in him. Bertie is seen sneaking into Ahan's room to ask him for soap. Meanwhile, Ahan and his other friends get ready to sneak out of the dorms. As they are about to jump the wall, Bertie returns from outside, coming back after buying food and scaring the group of boys. Ahan and his friends end up in a cemetery where they play band songs for a group of girls they intend to hook up with. All of Ahan's friends have already begun hooking up while he is sitting there alone. He is suddenly approached by one of the girls. She then proceeds to sit on him in an attempt to seduce him. Disappointed at his inability to get an erection, Ahan apologizes to her. Another day in band class, Father Oliver gives a lesson to the students to live in the moment and discusses the concept of youth and love with the class. The class asks Father Oliver of his first love, and as the story is being told, Bertie and Ahan exchange glances and smiles at each other. In the evening, Bertie is caught sneaking out for food and disciplined with corporal punishment. Ahan goes to the showers to give Bertie ointment for his wounds. As Ahan waits for Bertie to finish showering, Ahan's friends are bullying and assaulting a homosexual student. Ahan and Bertie are hiding in the shower stall together, but when the bullying gets worse, Ahan runs out of the stall to stop the boys. They try to convince Ahan to join them. Just as Ahan freezes, Bertie steps out of the stall, helps the victim up, and both walk away. They ask Ahan if him and Bertie were in the same stall, but he denies this. The same night, Bertie sneaks into Ahan's bed, where he shares snacks stolen from the dorm head's office. After the death of President Chiang Ching-kuo is announced, the two travel to Taipei to mourn on behalf of their school. They grow closer through their adventures in the capital. While there, Bertie and Ahan see a protester on a footbridge, holding a sign saying homosexuality is not a disease. Police violently detain the protester, while Ahan restrains an outraged Bertie and prevents him from intervening. At a video salon room, Ahan leans in to kiss Bertie as he sleeps but is interrupted by room service, who tells him not to fool around. They spend intimate moments and have deep conversations throughout their trip but never act on their attraction. The summer following their trip, Ahan remains melancholic due to conflicting thoughts about his identity and feelings. He asks his parents to buy him a scooter, which creates tension with his father. Ahan waits by the phone until he receives a call from Bertie. After meeting up, the two boys ride on Ahan's new scooter his mother buys for him to cheer him up. The pair watch films together at the cinema and steal movie posters from the wall. They sneak into a projection room where Bertie voices his desire to become a filmmaker, asking Ahan to go to film school with him in Taipei. They are discovered by the cinema owner and chased out of the room. The next morning, Ahan has a wet dream of Bertie. In the following semester, the school allowing the matriculation of girls, but they are still strict on intermingling between the sexes. In band class, a school disciplinary official gets into an argument about keeping girls and boys separated. A female student, Bon Bon, stands up for herself after the official berates her. Bertie helps Bon Bon, and feelings develop between the two. Along with increasing homophobic accusations and humiliation after performing an effeminate song at a military song competition, Bertie seeks comfort in the arms of Bon Bon and the reassurance and stability she provides to him in relation to heterosexual norms. As Bertie and Bon Bon begin to spend more time together, Ahan starts to become increasingly jealous and helpless. Ahan enters a chapel and prays for clarity. Birdie walks in and taunts him for his lack of a girlfriend, and offers to introduce him to someone. Ahan becomes furious at Birdie's nonchalant attitude and accuses him of toying with his feelings. Birdie asks if Ahan can stop trying to hang out with him alone. Ahan then goes out with a girl he previously met with, and she tells him a way to profess love over a pager. Ahan immediately sends this message to Birdie, but does not receive a response as Birdie is out with Bon Bon. At night, Ahan helps Birdie steal a giant balloon for a surprise prank. The next morning, the surprise turns out to be a love confession to Bon Bon from Birdie, which upsets Ahan. Later, Ahan meets an older man who tries to comfort him. When the old man makes a sexual advance, Ahan pushes him away and leaves. The scene cuts back to Ahan's conversation with Father Oliver. He says he would rather go to hell. He says that if all gay people go to hell, then more people might understand him there. Ahan finds Birdie after he has gotten into an accident and wrecked the scooter. Birdie insists he will fix the scooter, but Ahan says not to worry. Back at the dorms, Ahan helps Birdie shower due to his injury. They soon become intimate, and they kiss, but then Birdie apologizes. The pair cry and embrace while sharing an intimate moment filled with conflicting emotions of love, pain, shame, and desire. Soon after, Birdie begins to ignore and avoid Ahan. It is also revealed that Bon Bon has been expelled from the school, with Birdie only being given detention because of the balloon incident. Birdie's father arrives at the school and proceeds to beat him for being disobedient and not focusing on education. Ahan tries to stop Birdie from getting hit. The two boys begin fighting with each other. The fight gets broken up by the teachers and Father Oliver. Reconnecting back to the present in the conversation between Ahan and Father Oliver, Father Oliver talks about his youth and how he used to rebel but tried to stay on path. He then offers to pray for Ahan, which is interrupted by Ahan's friend, who tells Ahan to go home. Ahan refuses, but he tells him that Birdie is there, so Ahan immediately runs out of the room to go home and see Birdie. When Ahan reaches home, his parents tell him not to fight with his best friend over a girl, but Ahan is frustrated that he cannot say the truth. After a heated argument with Birdie in which he almost comes out to his parents, Ahan runs away from home with Birdie following him. They arrive at an island in Penghu where Ahan tries to take out his frustrations by screaming, only to be calmed down by Birdie. They have intimate conversations and go swimming. They are laying on the beach together, and Ahan touches Birdie softly, then kisses him. The pair do not see each other again after that. Birdie moves away to focus on his university entrance exams, and Ahan calls him one last time to confess his love for him by playing him a song titled Your Name Engraved Herein. The pair both break down and sob longingly due to heartbreak. Many years later at the school's marching band reunion, Ahan attends in hopes of meeting Birdie again, but he isn't there. Ahan then reconnects with Bon Bon, who is now Birdie's ex-wife and mother of his children. Ahan asks how Birdie is doing, but Bon Bon responds that they rarely see each other. Bon Bon notes that Birdie's stubbornness to keep his secret has ruined everyone's lives while wishing Birdie told her earlier on, and remarks that men loving men is innate. Ahan later travels to Canada to pay respects at Father Oliver's grave, and meets with Father Oliver's former lover. He tells Ahan about Father Oliver's struggle to accept his identity as a homosexual man, and how he turned to religion to suppress his desires. Ahan is still distraught about him being unable to meet with Birdie, but then they run into each other outside a bar, and they reminisce about their love, struggles and relationship. Birdie finally admits that he really loved Ahan then, and was just unable to accept it himself. They arrive to Ahan's accommodation, and Ahan offers Birdie to come inside for a drink. Birdie declines but accepts an offer to walk together back to his hotel. As they walk together, a younger version of Ahan begins singing Your Name Engraved Here, into which younger Birdie joins in. The film ends off with the older pair watching their younger selves singing with each other and skipping through the alley together. The film follows Ahan and Birdie, who fall in love amid family pressure, homophobia and social stigma. Ahan and Birdie spend a lot of time together. They do a lot of bad things typical of teenagers. Until they finally realize their feelings for each other. This film takes place in the 1980s where homosexuality was still very taboo at that time. Scenes of violence and bullying against gay people are depicted explicitly in this film. As a result, Ahan and Birdie are afraid to open up about themselves. Birdie stays away from Ahan and dates a girl, to protect himself from social stigma. His dishonesty only hurt each other and others. Years later, society's view of gay people has begun to change, but they can no longer return to the past. The song at the end of the film implies that if they get a second chance, they will love each other. The story is very beautiful, and relates to many people. Their experience and struggle through life, just to live in society, is understood and they're not alone. The narrative is flawless, and the various scenes between the priest and the boy are amazing. In one of the scenes, Ahan asks what's the difference between his love and someone else's love. As if this scene shows that everyone has the right to love. The chemistry between the two main leads is real and natural, and the acting is great. This film shows the difficulties and views of society towards gay people. How society's view of homosexuality has changed over the years. This film is really worth your time. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, and turn on notification.